I get the great opportunity to hang out with one of my dear friends who just happens to be a business member as well, Patrick Doyle, and we're up at Pleasant Valley
Welcome
Winery.
to Hammondsport.
Oh, thank you. This is a really beautiful place. Every time I come here, I've shared this with you every time. It just feels like you just took a little bit of France and somehow snuck it in New York. If you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about your company and the history and why here even.
Sure. 13 people started this in 1860. They started making sparkling wine through the late 1800s, and then into the 1900s they became one of the big champagne producers in the country. It worked out very well for them. They made it through Prohibition, and then in the mid part of the 20th century we were one of the top champagne producers in the world. There were a lot of corporate changes, and then my dad in the mid 90s bought the place back after it was about to sort of get sold off, and it's been our mission as a family to keep this place going for the last 30-some years. We do a lot of different products here. We have tours, we co-pack. It's just a labor of love, and there's a lot of moving parts, but the idea is to keep this history going because it's just such a special place.
10 years ago, when I first started, you were one of the first business relations, and we spent the day with you and your dad.
It was great.
I think about all the other things you do outside of just the wine. Maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Yeah, we actually we co-pack for a company that's owned partially by Nicki Minaj.
That's crazy.
It's a company called Mixed Fusions, and we make some stuff for them here, and we have some other clients that we can name and we can't name. But we store for people here. We have a warehouse that has products for probably 20 or so Finger Lakes wineries. We do events here, we have weddings, and there's 8 buildings in this complex that are on the National Register of Historic Places. There's nothing like it in the world, I don't think, but I'm a little biased, obviously.
I would have to agree with that, and I might be a little biased too. But with that said, what is really the best part and the hardest part of this business?
The best part of being in the wine business is that it's kind of a universal way of bringing people in. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to connect with people. My dad said at one point, I could be in any manufacturing business. I want to be involved in a business where I'm making something that makes people happy. And I can't think of anything more happy than champagne. So we are part of people's celebrations. That's what we love. And we come along, we don't like to steal the show, but we just like to be there to help people celebrate whatever it is that they're excited about.
What are the more unique blends you would say you have here that you might not see at another winery?
So it's interesting. We are, one of our core obviously is the champagnes. We have 4 or 5 different kinds. We have a brut and an extra dry. Yeah. We have a great product. It's kind of a mistake, but we have a chocolate lab, which is a Concord wine with essentially a Tootsie Roll in it, and my dad said, "Oh, nobody will ever buy that." It's one of our top sellers.
It's famous. Yeah, I've actually been watching when the customers walk in, and that is the first thing they go to. They want to try. So it is a classic.
We try to have a product for everybody who comes in here. So we have some varietals. We make a really good Riesling and a good Chardonnay.
Talk about the visits. If you were in Hammondsport, what would you say? Tell me what their day would be. How would it be if they came to visit?
Well, from Memorial Day until I think the first part of November, we offer tours of the facility. It's about 45 minutes, and then you can have if you're of age, you can have a tasting, and we'll provide some cheese and crackers for you, and then we have a great wine shop where you can buy the stuff that you like. Yeah.
So now I've done it on a more private level, but I would highly recommend it.
The behind the scenes,
and maybe even some of the barrels. Talk about that. Some of those big. We were looking at some of the wood and the casting barrels, the whole process, and then how you repurpose some of that later. It's pretty cool.
We have a lot of redwood in this facility.
Gorgeous.
And I was telling the guys that in our lobby, there was a water break at some point, and we refurbished the whole lobby with redwood, and it's just beautiful. So we've tried to be sustainable here before it became cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So where are you guys going next? What's the next big thing? I mean, one of the things, even with visions, we're always thinking about how we're going to grow, where we're going to grow to. What is next for you guys?
We've had some interesting wins on our co-packing relationships. So we're working with a couple of companies that have connections to national retailers. And then we have other players that are looking for us to help them do large productions of things. And that's really important to us. We have a high-speed line that is still relatively new, that that Vision's helped us with, and it's a great thing for us because it allows us to produce stuff a lot faster than we used to be able to. And we have our own brands, which we're constantly trying to build, so we'd love to sell a lot more champagne.
One of my favorite parts about being the CEO of Visions and working with our commercial partners is finding ways we can help them and listening to your dream and your vision and what you're trying to accomplish and just trying to be kind of it. Your partnership with us, you've been very creative. You found a lot of ways to relate and work with us. Maybe you could talk about that relationship and how having a good business partner, how that's really, really important in your decisioning.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the case of Visions, it's all about, as you said, understanding what really is going on, what you might need, and then being flexible with how you put a package together to address that. And that has been our experience with Visions for, my gosh, it's been 25 some years. So it's really, really great. So,
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But for us, you really, truly are one of my favorite people and relationships.
Likewise, by the way.
It's just imagination. It's just funny, as a banker, you sit there and think about, well, what are we going to finance today? And the thought of something this amazing and special and historic is rare and unique. Yeah. And it comes with a unique relationship, and it works both ways. That's what makes the partnership really well. You've been a fantastic partner for us as well.
Thank you.
And that's why we want to take the time to share, quite honestly. I want to share everything you're doing. I really think and hope that our membership gets behind and supports our members as well. I think members should support members. But literally the history in this beautiful building, if you can make time to come up, you got to do it. I think it's one of my favorite getaways when I can find that little extra hour and a half drive up here. Thanks as always for making time for us. Thanks for sharing this beautiful, beautiful space of yours, and we appreciate your membership and friendship. It really means a lot.
Thank you, Ty, for everything. As you know, it's your partnership's been critically important to us. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Continued success.
Yes, thank you. Likewise.